Okay, so what we have here now is a node called uh, Primatte. So basically, it's one of the industry nodes where we use. So if you just double click on here, and of course you make sure that you go on your Primatte example. Uh, what you'll find is basically the resolution of this picture is 960 by 540. So you need to change that to that. So if I press on S, and I've already changed that. So basically, if you can't find that resolution ever here, you can just go on new, and then what you can do is just simply type that in, 960 by 540, and I'll just say name as green man. Okay, and I'll just say okay to that, and I know that that's now selected, and I'm happy with that. So we can always come back, and I know that's my kind of dedicated screen there now. Okay, so let's come out from here and let's talk about this Primatte um, node. So if we just double click on here, if you just see that you got your foreground, which is quite obvious that that's my foreground and my background. So let me just get a checkerboard just for this example. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. Just click on here, and I'm going to just double click on this Primatte here. And first thing what we're going to do is, obviously we've got your foreground RGB, background RGB. At the moment it's set to RGB. Now this part here, the crop part, is quite really good. I quite like that because if you're using any other cues, you need to obviously create a garbage mask and kind of place, because I've played this image here. I know that that's a moving image, but it's not that far placed, so I can obviously create a garbage mask. But this one allows you literally to bring in my footage, and that gives you a crop, which is really good, which is really refining, doing the fine tune. Then what you do is, if I kind of go in the initialize part where it says the algorithm is Primatte, that's fine. And then you kind of go on auto compute. Watch what happens here. Okay, let me just zoom out in a bit, and let's say auto compute, and then you can see it really get rid of the green. And of course we've still got some it's not fully opaque because obviously we've still got some alpha dropping in here, and we know that we need to correct that, and the rest looks pretty much neat. Okay, so let me just come off from here and then reset this first of all. And before I go into auto compute, let me just show you what this viewer does. If I just do a viewer, this part here is your 3D representative. This part is more about the X and Y's about your Primatte. So if you just click on your auto compute here, you can see that very clearly. This is a 3D representation of your RGB. We're not going to actually kind of go in more detail because this is just to give you an illustration, just in case if you want to understand more about your Y's and X's. This is where it's used, just to give you a head start, just in case if you ever want to look for your 3D aspect of your RGB. And if you unclick that, and that goes back there. Now what's going to happen, I'm going to just now clean this up. So firstly, if you go on the operations here, you've got your background noise and foreground noise. And if I just go on alpha, and which is a good example here, I'm clicking on my foreground noise, and I'm going to just press from command, and I'm going to just simply bring in and start selecting, start kind of making sure that it's there, and there we go. Not bad. You can go right into the pixels as well, see that? So you can just go in. Looking good here. Again, there's some points there where we can get rid. pretty looking good. And now let's see this part. Let's clean this part here, the actual background. Again, press again, if you can press on your command key and then start cleaning that off. Or here we go. Okay, so pretty much happy with this setup. And now if I go back on alpha, that's my clean done. Okay, so now just look at some more operations. So if I zoom into this picture, okay, and here you can see clearly we got some green spill happening around the hairline here. Okay, there as well, got some green spill happening here. So what we're going to do now is try to go in here where it says spill minus rather than having spill plus. If you just press on the minus one, again if I press on the control key, and you can see I can get rid. Sorry, I've got rid of lots. Let me just undo that. That's too much. There you go. Just kind of literally select that. Let me just undo that. Let's see how much I've taken in. So now if I press on the alpha, that's looking good. Let's go back, and I've kind of retained my green, my spill. It's looking good for me, and I'm pretty much happy. But I think it's gone a bit more too heavier there, because obviously I just wanted to just make sure that if I select on this, let me just go right in and then just press 1. There you go. Again, let's do something like that. That's it. About okay, great. So it's just literally sampling a pixel for that green and just really going in and obviously just getting rid of the spill. Now what we do is, if I show you, if I kind of reset this for a minute. Okay, so let's reset this for a minute, and what I'm going to do is simply click on a smart select background color and then press on the control again and watch what happens. If I just simply click somewhere down here, see that, so that it really comes in, and then again it's the same principle lies on how we're going to kind of start working on how to get the foreground, clean the foreground noise. Again, I can just start clicking on there, and then it just start cleaning up. Again, if I just reset this, let's check on the simple background BG color, and again click on here, and you can see the difference. Now let me show you the difference between two. If I just press on the alpha key, and if I reset this, so if I just go on here to do the simple selection first, press on the control key, and you can see how much that's selected. But then again, if I reset this and then go back on simple selection BG color, just select that. Sorry, that was that. Let me just go back on the smart selection here. There we go. And if I click here, you see that's a difference. So with the smart selection you get more detail, and with the simple selection you get less detail. Okay, let's go and reset this. Okay, and if I go back on my alpha, on my RGB, now something quite interesting here. If I go down here to where it says output mode, and if I go on adjust lighting, now this is quite really interesting one. So if I click on the adjust lighting for foreground, sorry, for lighting for background, excuse me, and as soon as I click the output mode here, and if I press adjust lighting, what it does, if it's an uneven light, it will adjust that for you, and that's the whole principle behind it. Okay, there's another one where I've just kind of resetted my my auto compute, and I'm just looking at this part here where it says output mode is adjust my foreground lighting. Okay, or my background. Let's go on my foreground first, and I'm going to just see what happens here. So as soon as I click on foreground and adjust the lighting, okay, and at the moment nothing happens, but watch very carefully at this area here. If I press auto compute, see that, so that it evens my whole green screen. So that's another really good way to really work on it. And of course, if you're doing that, you need to create another merge node, and that's one operation done, and then you create another. So that's a really good way. So if I just kind of reset this, see that, and do auto compute, and see it just happens here. Let me just kind of bring it a bit more, kind of, so we can actually see what was happening. I think if I just do it from here, if I do auto compute, reset, see that. So if I reset that, and then let's bring this in a bit like that, so that you can actually see how even we can get the lighting. So let me just bring this in here. Watch very carefully now. So if I just do make sure to adjust the lighting here, and do making sure that adjust lighting and auto compute, there we go. So we got a nice even lit green screen. So let me just go back here. Okay, other option as well, remember with RBK we have to create another kind of a green plate. So for here, if you just go adjust lighting BG, that gives you a nice clean plate. If I just reset that, auto compute, that's obviously there, and then you can go and adjust lighting, and then you can bring up the threshold, and then you can start seeing the foreground here. There we go, see that? So you can see that that's the foreground. Okay, let me just reset that again. So overall, I think this kind of introduction will give you a really good insight of how you can kind of work on it. You can kind of manipulate. Let's go back on the composite there, and then of course if I want to just do an auto compute there, that that selection happens. Now I need to create a background, clean the foreground. I can just simply start working on that. There you go. Okay, and then again I can simply go here and start looking at my spill. Spill is looking okay, but I just need to take one of them. There we go, and that looks fine by me. And overall, I think if I just press on my alpha key, slight changes there. Again, I can just get on with my background noise and press here, and then start cleaning that as well. See that? So I can just go in. So that's cleaned. Clean here. Okay, oops, I don't want to. And then again with my foreground as well, I can, as soon as you see the opaque there, you can see, I can still see some kind of noise there. I can just go now and start cleaning that as well. So there we go. Okay, so that's the introduction of this node. Really interesting node. I quite like it, and I think a lot of the industry use this node, and I think it just works perfectly fine. A nice cut there, really looking good. Okay, so we'll just move on to our task 2 now with Primatte.